Hey guys, Outdoor Gypsy here. If you enjoy hiking, backpacking, or just simply the outdoors, then you've come to the right place. Come join me as I hike 30 miles in the exquisite Point Reyes National Seashore. For those of you interested, hang tight until the end. I'll be sharing some of my thoughts, tips, tricks, things you might want to know before you go on your own adventure out here. Let's get some nature love. Good morning, guys. Day 2, coming at you from Sky Camp. Gonna be working my way towards Wildcat Camp today. Man, oh man, was it windy here last night. My tent poles were bending like toothpicks. Fortunately, it actually held up quite well, but my goodness, it kept me up most of the night. That's not gonna drag me down, even though I'm super fatigued. The notion of today and hiking along the famed coastal trail here in Point Reyes has got me super awake. And the reason for it is because this is what the reputation of Point Reyes is kind of built on, is this trail and the coastal views and the bluffs and the promontory. So super excited. You can see like clockwork behind me, coastal fog moved in overnight and giving the trees a nice drink for the morning. But gonna break camp and hit the trail. Morning guys, day 3, final day on trip. Only have about 3.5 or 4 miles back to the car, most of which I've already done. So I'm just gonna put the camera away today, enjoy this beautiful coastal marine layer. If you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Otherwise, I'll see you all on the next adventure. All right, everybody, welcome back. Let's jump right on into this and get to some of the technicals on this trip. As you can see here, the total distance was around 35 miles with a total elevation gain of approximately 6,000 feet. I did this over Memorial Day weekend over the course of 3 days and 2 nights. It's a loop style hike located just off the northern coast of California and is one of my personal favorite places to visit in this state. If you'd like an exact copy of the trail or trip that I had done, I will leave a link right down below in the description for you to follow. Getting to the trail is quite easy. Just plug it in on your phone. The trailhead name that I started at is called Alamere. It's a very large parking lot, so even on a holiday weekend in summer, you should have no problem finding a spot. You don't need a high ground clearance vehicle to access this, or for that fact, even an SUV. A car will get you there no problem. There is a small section of a gravel road, but you should be able to traverse it no problem in a regular car. The nice part about this parking lot is it has the amenities of a couple of pit toilets, which is always a nice little perk. Because of how beautiful and how popular Point Reyes is, you are unfortunately going to have to get permits to backpack overnight here. There are 4 different camps within Point Reyes National Seashore. Those consist of Wildcat, Glen, Sky, and Coast camps. By the good graces of the universe and a whole lot of luck, I was able to score both Sky and Wildcat camps back-to-back nights. For anybody who has tried doing this on recreation.gov, you know just how hard this can be. So I was so lucky and so fortunate, and I feel blessed that I was able to do this. All of the campsites have a few different luxuries, that being potable water, actual pit toilets, and bare boxes, which makes this extremely beginner friendly for anybody who's trying to get their friends into backpacking. Planning for this trip can be a little tricky weather-wise. Even in good weather, the marine layer can move in quickly, and combined with the coastal breeze, it can cool off fast. I'd suggest having multiple layers, including pants. Moisture and moderate to heavy fog from the marine layer can soak you from head to toe and obstruct your views even in the middle of summer. One of the big draws in Point Reyes is Alamere Falls, and for good reason. It's one of 3 tidal waterfalls in the United States, and it is gorgeous. I would suggest strongly checking the tidal flows, because if you score permits at Wildcat Camp, you're going to want to hike the beach all the way to Alamere Falls, and it's a beautiful hike. But a lot of people will hike out there and then they get stranded because the tide will roll in and then you can't walk the beach back, which kind of leaves you in a precarious situation. For day 1, I started this trip out pretty early. I slept overnight in a small little town next to Point Reyes called Baldy. Definitely check it out. It's amazing. But I started at 7:30 in the morning. I finished around 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon. The total distance on this day was 13 miles, and I scored campsite number 1 at Sky Camp. And looking back on this in hindsight, was probably the worst site there, which I know I'm being picky, but if I'm going to be honest, it probably was the worst one. The best sites at Sky are 5, 6, 9, and 11, and 11 is the best in my opinion. The trail varied considerably, with some sections being very dense and overgrown, while others were smooth, wide, and well maintained. Baldy Trail and Outroad were extremely overgrown, as well as parts of Sky. I saw multiple banana slugs, hummingbirds, deer, and hawk. There were tons of blackberry and surprisingly salmonberry. I also got to see thimbleberry both flowering and slowly fruiting in some regions. Day 2, very similar to my first day. I started out at 7:30 in the morning and I finished around 2 p.m. It was a 15-mile day, and there was a decent stretch where I actually walked the road for part of this hike. And to be honest, it was some of the most enjoyable hiking and views I had all day. I have very mixed opinions about the coast trail. The reason for that is it's literally like the name implies. You're hiking along the coast, you're looking at the beautiful Pacific Ocean. The downside, however, is that it is very overgrown in much of this area. My guess for this is the Park Service just doesn't have enough money to maintain this trail, but it really made for a frustrating day when you're hiking through tall grasses that are well over my height, and I'm 6'2". For the most part, it was a fairly easy day's hike. Kelham Beach stairs have been washed away, just as an FYI. I personally decided to play it smart, and since I was by myself without any satellite phone, I found it was best not to risk it. Songbirds, sparrows, stellar jays, and hawk graced me with their presence. I was blessed to see about 30 Tule elk at Wildcat Camp, which made a great camp, an extraordinary one. This area lends itself very well to wildflowers. If you enjoy wildflowers, this is going to be a good place for you. Just some of the wildflowers I had taken a picture of here are forget-me-nots, sticky monkey flower, lupin, Pacific false bindweed, yarrow, western pearly everlastings, woolly sunflower, thimbleberry, hogweed, lady's glove, red elderberry, longleaf Indian paintbrush, red sorrels, daisies, creeping buttercup, flatweed, pink honeysuckle, scarlet pimpernel, poppies, blue blossoms, beaked hazelnut, heel alls, seaside daisies, and prairie mallow. Because many of the sections on this trail are very overgrown, keep your eyes open for stinging nettle and poison oak. Hopefully my experiences here, as well as some of the information, will help you plan your trip a little bit better. If you're not going on this trip, well, hopefully you enjoyed the video at the very least. If I forgot anything or you have any questions, drop a comment down below. I will do my best to answer it, or you can do your best to help other people while planning their trip. All right, guys, that's it for me for now. I am the Outdoor Gypsy. I'm signing off for now, but I will see you guys on the next adventure.